Hi, loves. Come on in. I'm Kristen, and welcome to Elevated Everydays. So, I'm popping on to share my April and May check in on my no buy year for 2025. It's been an interesting ride. It has been a very interesting couple of months. So, April went really great. We had a cruise in like the middle of the month. I was a little worried I might want to shop around at port. I usually like to pick up maybe some unique gift items or maybe a little piece of jewelry or something. I am allowed to grab a Christmas ornament for every new country that we visit. So I grabbed my ornaments that were reasonably priced from a local vendor. And that was the only purchase that I made on the cruise. So that was great. April was a breeze. No real bumps, going good, going smooth. And I did find out in April that I needed to have spinal fusion surgery. Not going to get into the whole big long story of it. Essentially, I've been struggling with severe and chronic low back pain for about 14 or 15 years, and it was time for a surgical solution. It actually was basically emergency surgery. So it all was a whirlwind. It all happened very quickly. But the reason that I bring this up, I'm in recovery. I'm feeling great. My back pain is totally gone. I'm just resting and recovering post op. But the reason I bring this up is because about 2 days after surgery, I was coming to because, of course, I was under anesthesia and on some pain medication while I was in the hospital after the surgery. And when I was feeling a little more with it, I went to check the Rocket Money budget app and noticed that the spending was very high. And we spent 2 nights in the hospital and 3 full days. So I was wondering why in the world our spending was so high, so much higher than it was before my surgery. And I went to look at the spending and it was all online shopping purchases. Y'all, after my surgery, I was given my phone, and before I completely came back into myself from the anesthesia, apparently I did quite a bit of online shopping. And it turns out, I mean, I still had some good taste. I still found some good deals. I did not remember making any of these purchases. What in the world? So, a couple of days after we get home, these packages just come rolling in, and I'm handling returns. And my husband, as we like to say, is in charge of reverse logistics, helping me out to get these returns. However, some of the items, once they were in my home and I opened the box and I took a look at them. And of course, I had to try them on. I kept some things that I didn't even remember ordering. It should have been so easy to just say, I don't remember ordering this stuff. Obviously, this is all going to need to be returned. No harm, no foul. Can't blame myself for what I did under anesthesia or even when I was just on the pain medication. So, like pain pill purchases were happening as well that I just did not recall doing that. Don't remember being on my phone, scrolling and shopping. It's so absurd. Please let me know if anything like that has happened to you. I've heard of that happening with people, I think, on Ambien, that they'll maybe wake up in the middle of the night and buy odd things that they wouldn't normally buy. And it shows up. They're like, where'd this come from? For me, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was just some clothes. It was just like some summer dresses and some summery items. So very, very bizarre. But anyway, May just ended up being an epic fail because I accidentally pretty much made these purchases unaware of myself and what I was doing. And instead of just easily returning everything, I kept a couple of the items. So I'm back on the no buy for 2025. I'm back on the wagon. June throughout the rest of the year, I am resolved to really be strict on my no buy. I think I've given myself a little bit of too much leeway from time to time because this is a new challenge to me and it's a difficult habit for me to break. And I can make excuses for myself all day long. But the bottom line is I have to get strict. I can't let myself off the hook. I mean, I can for the anesthesia, amnesia, and the pain pill purchases, but I can't let myself off the hook any longer. This is what I'm doing when I'm not even aware that I'm doing it. So this is how ingrained this habit is for me to self-soothe by scrolling and shopping. And this is the cycle that I have wanted to to get out of. This is why I started and proclaimed to be on this no buy year. And then I've ended up making these purchases here and there. Even though the cruise, the vacation, I did great. And maybe it was because I was outside of my everyday environment. Maybe the environmental shift had a big hand in curbing that, and you're on vacation. So there wasn't a lot of, daily stress or anxiety or anything, really. So I don't know what it is, but I have resolved from June through the rest of the year to be strict and not let myself off the hook, not give myself any leeway, really lean into the no buy, really lean into finding more ways to cope with the stress and anxiety because I feel like that's what's happening. It's a self soothing action for me that I've engaged in for so long that now it's just habit. So I will just find myself doing that even when I'm not stressed and when I don't have a lot of anxiety going on because it's just been ingrained as a habit. And I need for that habit to stop because, again, as I've said from the very beginning, I'm not overspending so much as I'm under saving. I did overspend in the hospital, though. I sure did. That was a lot. I mean, my eyes were like, whoa, when I saw the budget app and how much had been spent. It was not a small amount. And of course, the majority of all of that was returned. Not all of it. The majority of it was returned. And then I did keep a handful of items that I didn't even remember buying. So clearly, it's a problem for me. It's a very, very poor habit for me. And I'm really going to resolve to be more strict on myself for the rest of the year. And like I always say, though, even though you slip up, doesn't mean you give up. I'm doubling down from now until the end of the year to really lean into the no buy because this is something that I want to change. This is a habit that I want to stop and I want to be more aware and more intentional. I want to be more aware and more intentional of what I'm bringing in to my life, be it like clothes or homewares or anything like that. So it's time for no more excuses and to just really hunker down and stick with this no buy year goal. So let me know in the comments how your no buy or low buy is going. If you're doing a year, a month, a week, I think I'm needing to take it day by day at this point after what the anesthesia amnesia alerted me to, that this is what my mind immediately goes to. And my little scrolling thumb, my little hands, when I get that my phone in my hot little hands, that's what happens, whether I'm aware of it or not. Apparently. So as crazy as that story is, it was very, very enlightening. But I would love to cheer you on with your no buy or your low buy. Let's hold each other accountable. And I hope your day is as fabulous as you are. Thanks so much for tuning in.